What's up, everybody? Back again with King Rychus. This one's called America. I know some of y'all are quite familiar with the way that it's spelled and the way that the flag is held distressed because uh, I say I say it like this. It's a Pacific segment of the population that is facing a lot of different type of atrocities, and you're seeing it more and more within the media scope as well as living in your everyday lives. So what do you have to elaborate on that particular situation, Righteous?
Well, the flag being turned upside down just symbolizes how backwards, this country is.
Mm-hmm.
This government, policies, foreign and domestic policies are twisted,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it favors, a privileged class, which is what they call white privilege, you know, which is a form of white supremacy.
Okay.
And, of course, as you see, America spelled with three Ks, which symbolize one of America's terrorist organizations. Throughout, check the history.
Mm-hmm.
Called the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
That was designed to keep blacks in slave or put fear in them and keep them from voting and run them back to the plantations.
Right.
So that's the meaning of that.
Hmm.
You know.
Let's see. I guess we can get talk around till some people start getting
Right.
notifications, but yeah, especially I look at it like this with all the different things that's been going on in news media that youngsters see. I won't even say on the news. They see update from their cell phones like, oh, this done happen. This done happen. Like you were saying earlier, the brother that done got killed down in was it Dallas?
Yeah, in Texas.
Yeah, down in Texas. And you know how the media try to put a spin on it. Yeah, we went into his house and he had marijuana and all this. I mean, what's that have to do with he was rightfully, killed in his home?
Right. Well, that's what the society does. It's when we get caught in a situation, when they want to tie us up, put us in a bind, the first thing they do is destroy our reputation.
Okay.
You know, so that's the first thing they had you do is criminalize him to justify what
What happened to
yeah
him?
what the
Yeah.
woman did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we call justifiable homicide.
Mm.
So just like these brothers, I don't know if you heard about the young brothers who the police, the state troopers were chasing.
Mm.
You know, they state trooper. The story was state trooper got behind some young brothers
Mm-hmm.
on 94 and ran the plates.
Right.
Now you and I both know if a car is stolen, they're going to immediately, you know, call, for the reinforcements.
Mm-hmm.
To handle the situation.
Right.
Because, as a youngster, I've been in a situation like that. If you got a stolen car there, but the thing was they didn't pull them over on the highway. They followed them all the way to Cedar Avenue
Mm-hmm.
from 90, 94, 394 through the loop and whatnot.
Right.
So once they got to Cedar Avenue, then they decided to flick his lights.
Mm.
Man. So the brothers take off. They go down Cedar, you know. So, but what the cops did to cover, themselves, they said they pulled up because I guess there's some type of law saying they can't, chase people through residential areas
Right.
or whatnot. They pulled up, and then the youngsters ended up sideswiping the car
Mm.
and killing the people in it. Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No, I didn't hear
Yeah.
about that.
So, so they killed, three people. Innocent people got killed. Because I guess they called for the helicopters. That's what they claimed. They called the helicopters, and then they slowed up or backed up off the chase, and then the brothers ended up running the light and sideswiping his vehicle.
Mm.
Right. And so it was 14. Come to find out, it was four teenagers in the car. but the car wasn't actually stolen. But this is what the news media keep
Yeah,
pumping
they
out.
pumping that
The
out.
car wasn't stolen. It was actually his friend car, but it was his mother's car.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want to call that stolen, no, it was just some kids, 18, 16, 14, 15, joyriding. That's what teenagers do.
Right.
So, but what the media is doing is criminalizing. You know what I'm saying? I did, the homework on it,
Right.
read the papers, got the information. So, and the mother and them was speaking on the situation. So she said that was her son's, friend's mother's car.
Right.
So it wasn't actually a stolen car, but what the media is doing is criminalize them to justify,
And you figure it makes sense then, well, not makes sense, but what I'm saying, it makes sense in their mind to do that. So if it ever comes to, okay, we're gonna have a jury or whatever, they're gonna see all this stuff that came out beforehand in the media that's untrue, but it's still reported with no corrections.
So automatically they got this, perception of these kids. They stealing cars and then they killed some white folks at that. You know what I'm saying? So they're already being judged
Right.
by the media.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it starts, to destroy their character, to criminalize them. So when they do get in the court of law, it'll be easier for them to, basically hang them.
Yeah, hang them, do whatever they want to do. Now, I also heard about, they said another one of those prison guards died too.
Yeah. He was going to aid another one of his, his fellow COs.
Right.
And I guess he had a heart attack or something, probably don't work out. A lot of these
Mm-hmm.
then they wonder why people refer to them as pigs, because all they do is eat.
Right.
They got, big guts and they're out of shape.
Hmm.
And, so yeah, I guess he had a little heart situation and fell out.
So I wonder if they're gonna try to put that. Well, you're the reason why.
Yeah, definitely. He's gonna be charged with that. I mean, that's a loss of life.
Yeah. You didn't have him getting overexerted, he wouldn't have killed over.
Yeah, right.
Even though this job should require you to be physically fit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as like, I mean, I've been hearing on talk because I listen to talk radio a lot, and on these particular stations, it's slanted a certain way, and they were saying, Bill Cosby's lawyer, he was kind of speaking reckless. I'm like, how was he speaking reckless? He was.
What's the definition of reckless?
Right.
I mean, how do you really define reckless when you got this man defending an 80-year-old man who got these allegations from a woman for something that happened way past the statutes of,
Mm-hmm. Limitations.
Yeah, limitations, and and it's just like then they didn't really have. These are just allegations. It's just what her say. They don't have any proof or evidence.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going by what she said. You know what I'm saying? But really, what it all boils down to is, this man's reputation. This is what they're trying to tarnish. They're trying to tarnish, his legacy. This is what his wife said. This is what the record's stating.
Mm-hmm.
This man has a legacy. You check his, his resume.
Right.
And and all this stuff really surfaced is when Bill Cosby decided he wanted to purchase NBC.
Mm-hmm.
That's when all this stuff surfaced.
Right, because I feel a lot of youngsters don't even remember that. They just think back, Bill Cosby show, Fat Albert. No, he actually was going to purchase the whole network.
Yeah, exactly. So we can have an outlet, a major outlet, as a people.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't want that.
Right.
Once we reach a certain level in the society, that's why, I had to, emphasize or spell, America that way, because that's the type of system we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
A racist, white supremacist system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's designed to keep the black man down, or to keep the black nation or the black folks in check.
Yeah, from ever trying to rise up.
So their main objective, if we rise too high, eventually we will rise above them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their main objective, is keep us out of their social society, keep us down, or with their foot on our neck, like they have been for the last 400 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so essentially, like I said, basically, even from that little radio station that I was listening to, they're slanted to, give opinions. Well, he's been convicted by his peers. His lawyer shouldn't say the things he was saying. It's like he's trying to race bait. I'm like, where's the race bait? It was race baiting, even trying him again when they said they couldn't even try him again, and some of the evidence that they had was actually, they said, was false. But a lot of
Well, that's the problem, that we're having, as a people, is that we don't realize that we've never really been fully emancipated. You know, we still are subjected to an inhumane system. That's why there's no justice, and there's, judicial system, and this criminal justice system is, because that's what it's been designed off. Criminality. You know what I'm saying? It's ran by a certain group or race of people. You know what I'm saying? And it keeps us subjected to it.
right,
We've been subjected to the system. For the last 150 years since we've been so-called emancipated.
right,
So that's why, because if we were truly citizens, we wouldn't have to fight. We wouldn't have to go to legislation and be doing all these marches and all this
right.
protesting and
Or
trying to get voting rights and this
right,
legislation passed. If we were truly citizens, that's why, they say we're second class. That's because we're not truly citizens. We never really been liberated or emancipated. You know what I'm saying? Like you read in the Constitution, it states that uh, slavery has been abolished. I think it's the 14th Amendment, if I'm not mistaken. Slavery has been abolished
abolished
except
for the
for the
convicted
convicted
felon.
felons. Okay, so we know in this country over 2 million people are incarcerated. America has more people incarcerated in this country than any other country in the world.
Right, but then they
And I
want to
believe
point the
50
finger
to
at North Korea.
60% of the prison population is African Americans. Yeah. So you do the math. So
Mm-hmm.
so have we really been free? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We still incarcerated to this day.
Right.
We live in the ghettos. We're at the bottom of the society politically, socially, economically.
Even it could, I mean, a lot of people. I had someone ask me that was Caucasian. It's like, is racial profiling, is that real? I'm like, yes, it's real. You wouldn't know because
Right.
you never.
Because you're on the other end. You got the
Yeah.
complexion for the connection.
Right.
But so despite all the stuff that's happening to us in this racist society, then you got Agent Orange up in the White House, or so-called president.
Right.
He's creating an atmosphere. He's creating this atmosphere where these tensions is rising again.
Right.
With these fascists,
Mm-hmm.
these bigots,
Mm-hmm.
with these southern rednecks and these phony liberals. You know what I'm saying?
Them
Who
too.
ain't nothing but a bunch of racists.
Right.
Okay, so it's it's in the air. You just look around. If your eyes and your ears is open, you can see the tension, the stuff that's happening in the society.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This country is on the brink, definitely on the brink of chaos,
Right.
and mass confusion. So people better open their eyes and see what's really going on,
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I think, you know, I mean, with being bombarded with so much, information, sometimes you can get overwhelmed. And I look at it like this, youngsters get more overwhelmed where they just automatically turn off. Like, I don't even want to pay attention to none of this. But
Well, that's the thing. They're not paying attention. That's the whole problem. They're not to politics,
right.
and the social issues that's going on. They're not, paying attention to that. They're just reacting to what's going on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
The hottest rap song or whatever, the latest, Jordans or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And just really, what, Pookie and, and little Rome has said, so, just hood hood action.
Right.
Basically, what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's mainly their politics is on, this base level on on the street level, on the hood level. So they're not concerned. If it's not, about what's going on in the hood or what's in their circumference, they're not concerned with it.
Mm-hmm.
See, so I understand that. You see what I'm saying? That's why you can't come amongst the youngsters, brothers or sisters, and talk about politics. Mainly talk about religion, talk about history.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Can't talk about that stuff. You don't got to talk about hood, you know, hood
Full
politics.
of
You know what I'm
politics.
saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's rap music, sport, play, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So if you're on that level, then you might be able to relate to them.
Right. So essentially, they got you on one frequency wave. Like, no,
Exactly.
just
Yeah. Got us
stick to
stuck.
this.
Yeah. Got us stuck on stupid. They just around here trying to turn up.
Mm-hmm.
Trying looking for some weed and some drink. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Some pills or some mollies or whatever. Some lean. You see, yeah, that's the hood talk. You see, but once you rise above that and come outside of that frame, then you become more political. You become more social. You know what I'm saying? You start to speak on history and religion and what I'm saying, and whatnot. You feel me? So,
Okay, Willie Hill said, we know the problem. What is the answer?
well, the solution to our problem, I believe, well, this is on my own personal opinion,
Right.
me being a righteous Muslim, I give honor and praise to God, who we call Allah, and I believe what we've been taught, by our leader, uh, Mr. Louis Farrakhan, is that, yeah, we need some of this land we can call our own,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, as a people.
Right.
The only way we can solve this problem, this black, white dynamic, this issues we got with these races of people is to separate, Yeah, black folks, we never had land. We were supposed to receive land when we were emancipated.
Yeah.
They
Well,
promised us,
somewhat
so-called,
emancipated. Yeah.
so-called, right. Let
Yeah.
me rephrase that. You're right. So-called emancipated. They promised us 40 acres and a mule.
Mm-hmm.
We never received it.
Right.
That's land, in a form of reparations, and we never received that. We ended up in these urban areas and these cities, the ghettos of America.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So yes, that's why I believe the solution to the problem is, complete and total, separation from these people, so we can deal with our politics and our issues, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
without the corruption of this wicked government,
Right.
we call America.
Yeah, with them intervening
Yeah,
and
in our
playing basically
affairs. Yeah.
a puppet master.
Yeah, intervening in our affairs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's form a government of our own where we say, well, we have our own borders. Well, we know what's coming past our borders. We know it ain't, a drug cartel coming into our states, our territory. You feel me?
Well, I look at it like this. Let me play devil's advocate. It'll be a lot that say, well, it's a lot of countries in Africa where it's all run by Africans, and they're doing bad in those certain areas. But
I
if
mean,
you think about it, if they have a central bank over there that they don't control, that's what controls those people. That's
exactly.
controlling all those
What
resources.
controls the resources? The IMF Bank, the World Banks, and whatnot. It's not just so much that they're doing bad. Well, if you know the history of the continent Africa,
Mm-hmm.
then you will understand that this country has been robbed, raped, and pillaged throughout the centuries. It's called colonialism, by the Europeans,
Right.
other forces that went into this land and divided it up. The Germans, the French, the Spanish, the Dutch, you name it. They all the Portuguese. They all went into Africa, and it was like, a piece of pie, a pie. They sliced it up, and and dispersed it and distributed it amongst these different people.
Mm-hmm.
So so in saying that, it's like we still, despite what they're going through on their land,
Right.
at least they are independent.
Mm-hmm.
They got their own country, they
Right.
got their own flag, they got their own government, so they're dealing with their politics. But us here, we're not dealing with our issues because we're so divided.
Hmm.
I'm saying we don't have a government, we don't have a flag. You know what I'm saying? We don't have our own customs. You know, we just going along to get along. You know, from what we've been doing. You know, for the last 50
Now,
years.
what do you believe on when they try to title, like, oh, it's better to be called black or it's better to be called African American or
Well, black is not a nationality.
right?
You know what I'm saying? And African, our ancestors descended from the continent, but we're not necessarily Africans. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of brothers consider us to be Israelites, the children of Israel.
Hmm.
So as far as having these titles,
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, that doesn't really define who we are as a people in this country. They're just titles. You know, Afro Americans.
Yeah, that
We're not
too.
American. By birth. We're American by theft. you know.
Yeah, Lady Lena came in and said, "True. That's why Malcolm said, don't say you are African American because there is
Right.
no African American country."
Right. Ain't no such thing. Right.
Hmm. So essentially, because I want to say I'm not particularly sure on the bill, but I know when Bill Clinton was in office, he wrote something clarifying, African American, and within that bill, it essentially, if you read it, it says that you're not human. You're like property. If anything, if you claim that.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, all these titles that we've been given, because we used to be
Yeah,
Negroes.
Negroes.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
You go back during in history, we were segregated and whatnot. Prior to you know, the civil rights movement and all that, we was Negro with a lowercase n. Then we
Right.
became Negroes with a capital N
Right, right.
on our applications and birth certificates.
Mm,
Then we became, during the Black Conscious movement, we became black. We used that as a black nationalist ideology
mm,
to unify us.
mm.
During the Black Power movement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't until the 70s when they tried to soften us up. You know, they wanted to get rid of black and started calling us African Americans
Mm.
or coloreds. We were once
Yeah.
coloreds.
Yep.
You know, so it's real. You know.
Now, kind of touching back on the Bill Cosby, they say, education, frees you and everything, but when you look at what happened to him, it really doesn't matter how much money you have if
Right.
they really, don't want you to win.
Oh no, it's not about your economic status.
Hmm.
It's about your political status. That's what it really
Hmm.
comes down to. Yeah. So.
Who's all in there? I seen Willie Hill done commented and Lady Lena '04. I mean, who else is in there? I see it's showing a couple other people, but nobody's saying nothing.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, what's up, Larry? With you being in Cleveland, how's the climate in Cleveland? On the I was to say treatment being, of higher melon content. How are you getting treated in Cleveland? What's it like? What experiences have you experienced where, you be like, I can't believe they coming at me like this?
What'd he say?
Oh, right now he's just talking to Lisa Smith done came in. Yeah, you Larry. Yeah, she do. Thanks for them thumbs up. I appreciate that. Just trying to lead with a topic that's touching many in our communities.
And make us think.
Right.
Yeah, put something on your mind.
Right. It's a lot of stuff that's mindless that's going on all in the constant.
We can talk about sports and entertainment all day and all night.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about some real issues,
Mm-hmm.
what's happening in our community, what's happening with each other, you know.
Okay, Larry said, okay, he said, okay, say what again? No, I said, how, like, you being in Cleveland, like, how have you been, like, I'll say, mistreated? How have, you know, what I'm looking for? What type of mistreatment in your part of the country have you
Well,
experienced?
I was thinking that's the city that the young brother, the guy, wasn't it Cleveland? Tamir Rice.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
they
guy.
got shot at that park.
Yeah, at the park and playing with the
Yeah,
toy
yeah, he
gun.
had a
Yeah.
toy gun. Police rolled up on him, gunned him down.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, what's happening here is happening there. Chicago, just like what's happening.
Yeah, Larry said,
Texas.
yup.
Yeah, little brother Tamir Rice. Police didn't, just rolled up on him and didn't say free. Just open, shot first. Shot first, then said free.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're dealing with. You know, all over America.
Hmm.
This is the type of stuff we're dealing with, man. So
Okay.
racism.
Lady Lena said, speaking of Cleveland, how y'all feel about LeBron?
See, here's what we was talking about. The IMF,
Yeah.
Bank, real culprits in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
debt crisis. Yeah.
Okay, she said the reason why I'm saying this is he never spoke on the Tamir situation.
Right. Yeah, you feel me? So what she's saying is, right. Maybe he thinking, but he didn't respond to that. So let's talk sports. Maybe as far as Cleveland concerned,
Mm-hmm.
talk about you know, baseball, hot dogs, apple pies, Chevrolets or something. You know what I'm saying?
And she said he never spoke
responded.
certain situations in his backyard.
Right. But here we are. We in Minnesota, and we speaking on that.
Right.
Right.
Said you had Ali and others. Yeah, that were speaking up for, atrocities that was facing certain people. But, you're giving these big contracts. No, those is hands off. You can't touch those particular topics.
What, Ollie?
No, I'm saying, like, once these stars get these big contracts, it's like they go media silent on certain situations that's facing, the regular people within the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, greats who spoke out, but these new school dudes don't say nothing.
Don't say nothing about what?
About situations facing people, like you just said, the brother getting shot and killed in Texas and things like that.
Right.
Of that nature.
Well, there's some brothers speaking out on it. There's some young conscious brothers who's talking on a lot of issues. Like if you go on YouTube, you got brothers like a general from Detroit. His name is General Sarah Seti. He's a young brother. He speaks on a lot of topics. Then you got young Pharaoh, another young brother, who's, I lend the ear to. They speaking some good information. Another little brother from Nation of Islam named Ben X. So it's some young brothers out there that are talking on, that's, putting their voice out there, speaking on these issues.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we got a lot of elders, who's been speaking on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't like to consider myself no elder. You know what I'm saying? I ain't there yet.
The new OG.
Yeah, right. But I'm in my middle ages. I'm almost there. It's halftime for me. My young daughter, she trying to make me a grandpa yet. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's all good. But I know my record. You check my record for the last 30 years. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
All my homies, anybody that know me from a teenager, without speaking some theology or history or whatever. They like, that's what he do.
Yeah, but I look at it, it's always necessary to do your homework. When you're just talking about in these industrial complex schoolhouses, I'm talking about in life, your self-study that you need to carry yourself throughout this life. Because you're going to be faced with all type of different issues that, most people don't even have to go through.
That's right.
And then later, Lady Lena said, "Yup, he's out of Detroit." And then she said, "I like setting."
Yeah, said he go hard. You know, young brother, he's no holds bars. You know, he don't hold nothing back. You know, he don't hold no punches. You know, and he puts it down. You know, my hat goes off to him because he's a young general. You know, he's a young warrior for the cause. You know, for the liberation and salvation. You know, of black people. So I respect the young brother. You know, some things. You know, I may disagree with. With him personally, but that's just my own personal. You know, that might be from mine.
Right,
Okay, not so much as anything personal against him, just for our religious, you know, ideologies. That's
right.
all, which he's not religious over that, so.
Yeah, Larry said, being in Cleveland, you have to watch out for crooked police, and haters. I know people killed every day here, and it's sad. I almost got killed too.
By who? The police?
I think it was just some regular person.
Okay, yeah, and also, it was brother that asked the question about what's the solution. I wanted, you remember?
Yeah, Willie Hill.
Yeah, I'm going to add on to that as far as what, you know, we we as Muslims believe, what the Muslims believe, as far as being part of the solution. In our newspaper, The Final Call, Elijah Muhammad put the Muslim program in the back of the Final Call,
Mm-hmm.
and it states what the Muslims want and what the Muslims believe. That's been in the back of the Muhammad Speaks, the earlier Final Call back there, the earlier days of the followers of Elijah Muhammad. But in the point number 9, it states that we believe that the offer of integration is hypocritical and is made by those who are trying to deceive the black people into believing that their 400-year-old enemies, open enemies of freedom, justice, and equality, are all of a sudden their friends. Furthermore, we believe that such deception is intended to prevent black people from realizing that the time in history has arrived for the separation from the whites of this nation.
Mm.
So that was part of what we believe as far as the solution to this problem is us separating from it.
Mm.
So I just wanted to add that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, because I know you said I know you still recovering after being shot, Larry. So yeah,
That's the brother that was on the last time we was talking?
yeah.
Okay. What's up, Larry?
He said, "Yup, still recovering. And hopefully you're getting better, and your therapy is doing you good."
Right.
See, that's another thing a lot of people deal with. People of our same race that they can, you know, ready to do you wrong over something that can't be looked at as anything. But someone that's doing some serious harm, you got the blinders on and ain't seeing it.
We're talking about our open enemies?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, well, in our communities, the reason we turn on each other is because we're around each other, But we're quick to, like say, if somebody do us wrong, we're gonna retaliate.
Yeah.
We know the meaning of retaliation. That ain't even an issue. We got a record of retaliating against one another. But let them do something to us. We're gonna hear Pete.
Right.
We may chant, protest, wave some fists, whatever. But we ain't gonna go shoot them down like they shooting us down. Okay? We ain't gonna do no drive-bys. You know? We ain't gonna go kidnap no police officers and put them in the trunk and, and get into some real gangster shit with them. Because of fear. Because we're afraid.
Yeah, I guess
But
they
when
got
it comes to ourselves, there ain't no fear. They're killing each other,
hmm
you know.
And then there's no fear.
There's no fear. That's because of the slave mentality and self-hatred.
Hmm.
You haven't woken up and realized who you are and what your true nature and your purpose is
Hmm.
in this time.
Kind of slow tonight. Usually we have all different kind of different people. That's good because last few times we don't have them people trying to incite certain things. So
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's cool, chill. It's a nice cool night. I'm here in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Right.
About 50 some degrees.
Right.
Real quiet outside. Ain't no riffraff. So that's a good thing.
You still there, Lisa Smith? You still there, Lady Lena 04? I know you still there, Larry. I don't even know if what was that was in there? Willie Hill, if you're still here.
I guess what I wish for us, as a people, man, is for us to become more more conscious. More conscious not only of of politics and history and religion, but what's going on around us, just day to day affairs in our community. Become more aware of what's happening, down on Broadway and Martin Luther King Drive or wherever,
Right.
major, streets in your city.
Yeah, because mostly every Martin Luther King, here's some shooting going
no
on
question,
it.
and some drama.
You're right.
But if we become more in tune with that, and try to reach out, so my motto is each one teach one. We can't save the world, but we all can, play our part. You know what I'm saying? So if we all play our part, then there'll be a major step, into our liberation. You know what I'm saying? Because, if I teach one, you teach one, next person, then next, we don't taught 100.
Right.
We got 100 people teaching, 100 more, that's 200. 200, that's 400, you feel me?
But to me, we got to start doing that more and more because there's so much disinformation, misinformation, and blatant lies that, it's got people so, miscombobulated. Right.
And turned inside out, upside down. Okay, right. We made to think what's right is wrong, what's wrong is right. What's up is down, what's down is up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled, led astray, led them up,
Yeah, Willie Hill said he's still here. Lisa Smith says she's still there. And then Larry said, yeah, they will shoot each other for no
reason.
Right.
Yeah, just for looking at you wrong. And for mugging.
But want to stand up for a cause.
But let the police mug you. You're going to drop your head, you're going to tuck your tail.
Right.
Okay? But you thugged out and you a gangster. We call them pranksters or wanksters. Okay? Right, ain't no gangster.
Studio gangsters.
Real gangsters in the police department. You feel me? Real gangsters, that is. You're working with the police.
Right.
We've been taught to think that if you work with the police, you're just a snitch. No. We got it all twisted. If you study the mob, you study about the Italians, what the Irish, they ran the police department. These was gangsters. Okay. That's what I'm saying. So this so-called gangster stuff we do can out criminalize the real criminals. It's a hazy shade of what a criminal is,
See, that's why they put out so many movies and certain make certain rappers talk about certain things. So like, oh no, these little people, these are the people are there.
Exactly. That's what exploit does. That's what you call exploitation. Yeah. You see, they make us the villains. instead of us looking at the real villains.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got this government robbing countries for oil mines and diamond mines,
Mm-hmm.
and we jacking somebody for their purse and car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk about all them bombs that they've been dropping over
Mm-hmm.
in Yemen and things and
We trying to take over a block while they taking over countries.
countries.
You understand me? Well, you tell me who's the real gangster.
Big corporations
Yeah.
pulling all the resources out of those areas.
So we just gotta wake up, man. You know, you know. We so thugged out, gangstified, but you on a block, a brick, or a stick. You own it. You feel me?
Right.
But you so gangster. You sleeping on Aunt Ray Ray, couch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, but you gangster.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, y'all. We gotta get it right. You know, and I ain't knocking us. I'm just saying, we gotta get our priorities straight.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta become real men. You know.
I mean, I enjoy that y'all just kick back and listen, but
Right.
I like some interaction. The interaction is cool too,
Feedback.
because then we can make it go
Yeah.
to it.
Call and respond.
Right. We can make it elevate the conversation. Elevate. Larry, they didn't let me see your comment. The last comment they showed was the one where you said they shoot each other for no reason. So see, that's what it must be. They must be blocking some of the comments. Oh, we can't let these comments come through. We'll make it seem like nobody's saying nothing, so they'll go off. You might have to reformulate it, Larry. You know how they do on my channel.
When you put the topic up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is a little heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Wait a minute.
Right.
We already know a lot of brothers and sisters listen to his channel. So with that topic, they like, wait a minute, let's kind of mess with the notifications.
We want to hear some pimp shit.
Yeah. Well, this is some pimp shit.
Right.
Something to elevate, to keep from getting pimped on.
Yeah. No, we want to hear something about, pimping hoes and slamming Cadillac doors. And, we want to hear some of that jive talk. That shit, your boy, your shoe shine, man. We want to hear that jive talk.
But then, that's only about 60 seconds when we do it. We already on 42 minutes right now.
Nobody trying to hear that shit. For real. But him. I think he get off from saying all that shit,
Mm-hmm.
When I listen to him, I be like, man, this dude here. For real. You need to sit down somewhere.
Right.
Go get your shine box, man. You know what I'm saying? For real, leave that topic alone.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
okay, I'll look at it like this. Okay, we're in a different area now, and a lot of things been said about everybody that appears on my channel. You, me, old school that comes on, everybody that don't appear. But since they say they don't listen, but I know they are listening, speak directly to that type of person that has something to say about another man.
like I said, it's a lot of haterism, man. Like I said, it could be envy, jealousy. From what I heard, of his conversation, it's just basically like, come on now. Why you gonna just speak on another man? Just, stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
Stay, so it's just, that's what envy and jealousy do, man. If I don't like the moves you making, or if I ain't really working with you, if I ain't, eating with you, then I'm gonna hate on you. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And that ain't cool. So that's why it's like, we gotta, play the, like I said, the devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be the bigger man.
Right.
Paying no attention. Because you know what you're doing. If you're making moves, you're moving and grooving, doing what you do, then, hey, man, we used to say sticks and stones was breaking my bones, but words never hurt me.
Right.
So, just let him do what he do.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't phasing you. It ain't stopping you
That's
from,
true.
eating or doing what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Just as long as you don't come stepping on my toes, we ain't got no problem. Or coming on my property, or come, invade my space,
Right.
then we ain't got
Yeah,
no
essentially it's
problem.
just evading the airwaves, talking a bunch of,
Yeah, nonsense, basically.
big bad
Yeah,
wolf.
yeah, huffing and puffing.
hmm Now, Lisa Smith said, how does Righteous feel about fake Muslims, i.e., eat swine and lie, and have kids with white women?
Well, you know, you gotta understand, Islam is not it's not a race based religion. You know what I'm saying? There's white Muslims all over the world.
Okay.
Okay, it's not just no black thing. That's where we got it twisted. Islam is a religion. There's over 1 billion Muslims on this planet. Okay, when we think of a Muslim, all we think of is, I mean, if you're not international, if you're not,
Right,
your
right.
mind don't go outside of America, you just think of black Muslims or the
hmm
brothers in America, with bean pies and bow ties and whatnot. But we also have brothers that's Orthodox Muslims or Sunnis, who practice the traditional form of Islam. They're all different nationalities of people. You know what I'm saying? The brothers that go to the mosque, the masjid, or whatever.
Yeah.
Wear the traditional garbs, the kufis, the dashikis. They grow their beards. Those are your traditional Orthodox Muslims.
Mm.
They follow a traditional form of Islam, which is what we call the Sunnah of the Prophet of Muhammad of 1400 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But us here in the West, we practice a different form of Islam also. But I get what she's saying. There's brothers who profess to be righteous and be, Muslims to, which really means to submit to do the will of God. And it's not. They're really following, the ways of the world or what everybody else is doing.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? So it's not no race thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, so who people choose to be with, that's their preference. That's, so I just want to make that clear.
But I
But
think why she probably came like that is think about it like, like you said, you're thinking only in America. You're saying you're with the Nation of
right,
Islam and you're with a white woman
right.
and you're eating
Well,
swine and all this kind of stuff.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, I'll say this: ain't no saints, brothers who join the nation or become Muslims. They probably came up from the mud, just like a lot of us.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm looking at it from that perspective.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't always righteous. You feel me?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what the perspective I'm coming from.
Okay.
So these brothers who's choosing to be with certain people, whatever, But as far as white women are concerned, yes, in the Nation of Islam, interracial mixing is prohibited. That's part of what the Muslims believe. Also, I'm just trying to find it. I ain't got my glasses on, so that's why I'm straining. So as far as what we believe, that we believe that race mixing is prohibited. That should be prohibited because we feel basically we should stick to our kind first. We should deal with our women. You know what I'm saying? Most of them not dealing with other folks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but as far as swine, you don't just have to be a Muslim not to eat swine. If you know the history of that, that mean you wouldn't even mess with it. You know what I'm saying? Just scientifically, us as people. That's the other white meat. That's for the white folks. That ain't for us.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
I was gonna say, now, give me your particular opinion on this. What do you think of, say, brothers that profess, they're so worldly and they have so much knowledge, but
The conscious community.
maybe it comes down to, I look at it as they must have been injured or something young, where they don't mess with no sisters at all. They always seek out the other race. They don't seek out no sisters at all.
Well, it's like this. A lot of brothers have been damaged,
Hmm.
by women. By black women. It starts at home. You know, you know, we can grow up with a resentment, towards our women because the way we probably was treated by not only our mothers, our aunties, if not our grandmothers.
Mm.
So we can have this resentment. Yeah, which I know one brother. I don't know if you're familiar with Tommy Sotomayor.
Yeah,
Tony
yeah.
Somer, yeah, he has his little thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he's from Phoenix. But he spoke on that. He spoke on the fact that the reason he speaks, a certain way about black women is because of his experience.
Mm.
So I don't know if you ever listened to him, but yeah, that's basically what that's saying.
Hmm.
We can grow up with a resentment towards our women. Where we just like, well, I'm not dealing with our women
Right.
because of how I was treated, or how I was raised, or how my women dealt with me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Now, Larry said, "How you feel about white people trying to say the N word?"
Well, basically, they gave it a different definition. It's like it's deeper than that word is deeper than how they're defining it. See,
Hmm.
because little nigger is in the Bible.
Hmm.
Okay, in that sense, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But when a river ran through the Niger, what they call it Niger, pronounce it Niger, but it's really nigger.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And but that word has a etymological root meaning to it. It has a deeper, root meaning, which goes all the way back to ancient Kemet, or what we call was Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Which has a very, deeper meaning than what the Europeans or the Caucasians you call us. They redefined us when they made us indentured servants or slaves. They started calling us Negroes. That's a European anthro, uh, what you call it,
Yeah.
anthropology, or
Anthropology.
yeah, when they just when Negro, that was a term that the anthropologists used when they went into Africa to describe us because of our features. Negroids, you know what I'm saying? The Spanish, you know what I'm saying? Necra, which means black, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's where Negro derives from. Necra, or you know what I'm saying? El Negro or whatever.
Hmm.
So it has a deeper meaning than what these, Western white folks, define it as.
Right. Now, I missed Willie Hill's comment. He said they promised us 40 acres and a mule. They promised to rebuild Black Wall Street. They lied.
Oh, most definitely. Boy, we the only people that's really been terrorized in this country. You know, next to the Native Americans
American.
also. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But we the only people that they dropped a bomb on.
Hmm.
You know, in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, Philadelphia,
Right.
1985,
Right.
the Move, organization. So we know what it feels like to be terrorized.
Hmm.
Churches bombed. Down in Selma. The four little black girls they had killed in that church.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know,
Katrina.
yeah. So it's like we know what it's like to be terrorized.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a terrorist nation.
Then Larry also said, basically, also, how do you feel about them trying to act black as well?
Well, they know who their mother and father is. Basically, yeah. To be honest,
Huh.
they can't act the color. You know what I'm saying? But they can act. They can act a character or a personality. That's what they're acting out. They can't act a color because to be black is not our nationality. It's
Hmm.
not our culture.
Yeah.
That's just a um, that's just a term we use to nationalize us as a people, but we're
Mm.
not. That's not our nationality. Is to be black. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
that's just the color. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Because when you like when African, I'm from Nigeria. I'm
Right.
Nigerian.
Yeah, they got culture.
Yeah.
They
I'm
got customs.
Somalian.
Yeah, so we gotta learn what our nationality is.
Hmm.
It's not just being black. Cause black is a mindset. It's a universal thought. The space. The depths of space is black. The depths of the sea is black. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
The depths of the womb is black. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it's the essence of life. Which all colors come from, which is black.
Hmm. Now, essentially, he said, "What do you feel about Bill Cosby?" When I say that, or when he says that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about how you think his term is gonna go. You think he'll do that whole?
Well, actually, they put an appeal in also, so
Okay.
they're appealing, the judgment. So You know, depends on, I guess you could say, how the appeal go. He could probably do 3 years. You know, he might, I don't know, they might let him out or house arrest or something, or but they are appealing it, so that means they can get it overturned. That judgment, if the appeal goes through.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's deep. I'm trying to see something.
Larry said, like Tupac said, niggas are the ones with the chains around their neck, and niggas the ones with ropes around their neck.
Well, they don't remove that. They remove the chains and around the shackles off our feet. But we got the chains on our brains now.
You're right.
So we don't need physical chains.
Right.
They don't have physical chains on us because they got them on our brains. We stay stuck in the ghetto. We don't move. So our feet shackled.
And if we do move, it's just to another dot.
We don't
another
work.
inner city.
We're not using our hands. Our skills to work and to build
or create.
So our hands is tied.
Being innovative.
So they got chains on our brains. Because we still think we citizens. So to these people. They're in control over us. So the physical change is gone, but mentally, spiritually, and morally, we're still enslaved.
Now, Cleveland Roberts said, top of the morning to you, brothers. I'm just tuning in. Blessings to you, sir. I enjoy your show. I appreciate that. Where you, you said the morning, what part of the world you in right now, Cleveland? Wait a minute. So what? It's like 11?
Where's he at?
He's in Bronx, New York.
Yeah, it's an hour ahead?
Yeah. Hour ahead. Anything going? What's the climate in the Bronx? I know we done spoke about COs dying and high-speed chases taking out people. I mean, what's going on over in the Bronx area that they ain't probably putting up on a national stage? What's been happening in your area of the world that the mass public probably don't know about? Let me see. I'll go through and read, make sure I don't got everybody's comment. I don't want to miss nobody's comment. Let's see. Said everything. A lot of stuff just don't make the news. Okay.
Right.
That's true.
But yeah, so going back to what the sister was saying, but yeah, we definitely, in the Nation of Islam here in the West, believe race mixing is, should be prohibited, that we shouldn't intermix, but, we can't, define who somebody get with, somebody, love or feelings transcend, whatever they believe, that's on them. But we believe we should stick to our own first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I say for myself, what do you feel about perpetrators? Because essentially we were speaking about perpetrating. What do you feel about it? Because that's giving a false perception to people.
Yeah, I mean, but you got people who claim to be believers. Well, a better term for it is what we call hypocrites.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Of course, people going to perpetrate a fraud. That's with anything. But as far as you profess to believe in something, and then you don't live by the code.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't living by the law or the statutes or the commandments or the Bible or the Quran
Mm-hmm.
or the Torah or whatever, then you're a hypocrite.
Hmm.
That's what we call a hypocrite. You see what I'm saying? Because you're not living by the book or by the law. So, so, but yeah, you can perpetrate a fraud. Anybody can come in sheep clothing. It be nothing but a wolf. You know what I'm saying? And so,
I just like to cover that because the untrained eye, they be like,
Right.
oh, what I'm hearing, it sounds like
it sounds good, but but then again, you got a lot of people who try to use other folks as a criteria. As how, like, well, if they ain't living up to if they ain't living up to this standard of how I see it, then they ain't right. They ain't on their square.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So unless you're in that, in the trenches with them or in that same, demonstration,
Right.
in them same circles, then you can decipher, what that criteria is, how we're supposed to be doing this. You feel what I'm saying? So
Now, Larry said, he came back and said, what do you think about the so-called OGs not schooling the youngsters these days, but will lead them in the wrong direction?
Well, as far as OGs is concerned, man, the OGs is OGs. See, that's what I mean. See, like I said earlier, I don't really like to consider myself, an elder or, even though a lot of cats may look at me, not because I'm saying I'm this, they may be like, what's up, old school?
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you call your man's,
Mm-hmm.
That's old school.
Yeah, that's old school. Yeah.
Where you say he old because he like what, twice my age?
Right.
What's about 60, 70?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the old school. That's OG.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? I'm on my way. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But there's younger cats who might look at me like that.
True.
So, but I got enough intelligence, enough sense to know, like, hey, I ain't there yet. I'm a G. I ain't OG,
Right.
But young cats may be like, what's up, OG?
Mm-hmm.
Or what's up, old school? You see me?
Right.
I'm middle aged.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Huh.
So, but yeah, so to speak on the OGs, man, the OGs is the OGs. I can't even say, if they live to be 60 plus, you OG, man.
But you figure though, it's some OGs that are fools. That's what he essentially was saying.
Let me tell you
Okay.
something about, that's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Them OGs, them very cats that we saying that they this and they that. That's why I don't put myself in serious judgment, because I come from the block. And them very OGs, not all of them, but some of them that I do know that's out there,
Right.
that's older than me, them the ones that made me. That's them the ones that from a BG, a baby gangster. They made me a G. It was them OGs. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I never knock them. If anything, I'm gonna reach for them because I know them the ones who I probably would come on the block. They like, we got you.
Right.
You throw them something. They making it happen. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's where we come from. I come from that. So yeah, so it's I guess you could say it's a chain of command, man. You know what I'm saying? From speaking from, I guess you say the street code. That's where I'm coming from, that perspective. You know what I'm saying? So coming from that level, so I know, man, it's some of them cats that we may think is this, that, and the other is some straight up G's, man. Some niggas that just probably they just reached a certain level point in their lives where they're not living that life or to the extreme anymore. They're like, well, okay, this is where I'm at.
Right.
I'm comfortable because so much things done transpired in their life to where they got to where they're at. They're like, I don't have to live. I'm not living like that. I leave that to these younger cats. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same. It's a cycle. It's just like where I'm at now as a G, an older cat.
Yeah.
And I could be like, well, what I used to do, when I was on the block 20 something years ago, 20 plus.
Right.
Bam, I'm looking at the youngsters and be like, man, this is where they at. So I don't knock it because I know, they can change.
Right.
I know that because it's about stages of development, stages of evolution.
Right.
That's what the stage they was on. I was once there. You feel me? So I already know each one. So there are, some OGs who will reach back, share some words of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? To some of us younger G's, and we do vice versa. We do the same. to the BJs. You know, get, you know, you go on the block or whatever, go amongst them. You know, when I'm out there, you know, each one teach one. I got something to tell them. If they lend me an ear,
Right.
I got a lot of game to give them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a cycle. It's a, you know, and it's sort of like ranks. You know, on the street level, it's sort of like, you know, ranks when it comes to dealing with this this intellect. You know, now when I say this intellect, it's like that street mentality. You know what I'm saying? So I never, you know, would knock them. I mean, that's an elder. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, old school.
Yeah.
All must respect. That's an elder. You feel me? So me being the man I am, it's respect. Regardless of what I may think.
Right.
You feel me? There's a level of respect there. But some youngsters may be like, I don't know you. Have no respect for you.
No respect.
You feel
at
me?
all.
Like, you just the old nigga. That's what I'm saying. So, but it's gonna take cats like us to be like, hold on, shorty. You know what I'm saying? He paved the way for cats like me.
Right.
You know, so if you respect me as a you know, your big homie as a G, then I'm letting you know you gotta respect the elder, because that's where I came from. That's, you know what I'm saying? You know, when you was in diapers, when I was on the block. That's who I had to look up to. That's who was putting me on game, letting me know what was going on the street. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I answered the question, but you know, that's the way I just look at that.
Right. I think you covered it well. Did he answer to your the question to your liking, Larry? Well, he elaborated on every area that you could possibly think of. You know, trying to come up with
bring some clarity to it.
Yeah. He said, "Yup."
Yeah. So it's real, man. It's real out here. So, but there are some, I won't say all, but there are some who out here who basically, so I see what he's saying is the older cats, you know, that, you know, might be OGs, they giving up. These are the ones who are out here begging for change.
Yeah. Asking for jugs. Yeah.
They, you know, they ain't really own nothing. They stuck on stupid, basically. So basically what we're saying, these are the ones that basically gave up. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. So, and still, out of respect, it just might be like, I don't know what their issues are.
Right.
I don't know if it's a drug problem or a family issue or what got them mentally, you know, impaired. I will still reach for them. You know, cats that I knew that kept it 100 with me, I'm like, man, you know, I'm going to throw them something. Just because I remember when I was a shorty, it was these cats that was, you know, breathing on me. You know, kept things in perspective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I look at that.
Now, when I was gonna say when you know, I like to say new OG, but when you get OGs telling you, you know, things, their word is more. Would you say is more holds more weight than maybe say, you know, maybe an active youngster in the street? Or do you think the information depends on what the information is, where it's coming from? Like, well, I feel this way about this person or this situation coming from an OG versus I feel this way about this person or situation coming from a youngster that's active. I mean, which way do you weigh in it? Like, well, I put more weight on these OGs that, you know, may know this person for a long amount of history versus, you know, these young active cats that seeing, you know, said person or situation on a daily versus, you know, going off of the old information.
Right. Well, the younger generations, man, or young G's, haven't really lived long enough or been through enough to really see this shit for what it really is. You know, I'm just looking at it from that perspective. They may be like, yeah, you know, I jumped off the porch at, you know, 13, 14, whatever, you know, but they haven't really lived enough. They haven't had enough, you know, trials or tribulations or went through enough to where they could be like, well, okay, I see it in its entirety. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't made it out of your adolescence. You ain't made it out, you know, the elementary stage. You feel me? So you can't be 20 years old and call yourself OG.
Oh, no,
You're still a baby.
Right.
You ain't lived. You know what I'm saying? So, once you go through them phases, you know, and then it's like, so older cats who don't experience what the youngsters don't experience, and got into a second childhood, 20s, 30s, or whatever, you know, lived a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
moved around. You know, did some things. You know, seen some things. You know, tested the waters. You know, been there, done that. I mean, like I said, you know, I mean, if you ain't left your block or left your hood, you ain't seen nothing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know, like I said, you know, it really didn't become manifest to me fully until I took it on road or went cross country with the gang. You feel me? Once I went cross country, then I'm like, yeah, you official. You
Right.
feel me? So that means you don't had a little experience. You don't moved around. You don't see some. You ain't just local. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, local
You ain't
joker.
just you ain't just in the hood. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So yeah, so an older cat, you know, that experienced and lived a little bit can tell the younger cats a little bit more because what they've experienced and what they've seen. You see, it's just like OGs that's been through it. That they can tell us younger cats like, hey, this is how we see it. This is how, you know what I'm saying, we perceive this to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to us how we want to take that in. How we want to, if we want to digest that information they're giving us. It's just like you feeding your babies, right? If you got children, you feed them, you make a balanced meal for them, all the the food groups or whatever,
Right.
stuff that we know is good for you. That
Mm-hmm.
and then you feed it to them, and they like, well, I don't like peas.
Right.
I don't like carrots. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But when we like, you gotta eat that because that's
Yeah,
what you
right.
need for your nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, well, I don't want bread or something. That's what I'm saying. See, because we may understand something they don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we say we make them do certain things.
Yeah.
Or stop running around so much. Sit down.
Right,
You
right.
know, read a book or do something constructive. That's what I mean by that. You know.
I say, yeah, Larry said, yeah, still wet behind the ears.
Right. Right in that order. You know, still drinking Similac.
Right.
So
We've been on 71 minutes, y'all. We done kind of traipsed in all different kind of areas and
right.
covered various topics of things that's going on in the
In the
Triple
society.
K
Yeah, in the
society.
Right. So yeah, so basically my words, wisdom to our listening audience, man, is just become more aware of self first, because I believe knowledge of self is the knowledge of God. And when I say God, I'm speaking of the Creator, the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You know, and the infinite being. You know what I'm saying? Because if we expand our mind, you know what I'm saying, we open our mind up to new ideas and new thoughts and just things that's going on around us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we become more in tune with self.
Right.
Then you'll be able to, come outside our little comfort zone. Come outside that little box.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And have more to give. You know what I'm saying? Once you learn more, you got more to give.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
That's true.
I couldn't share nothing if I didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
If I didn't read, if I didn't listen,
If you didn't seek it out or people tell
exactly.
you, yeah.
So apparently I have something on my dome if I'm letting it come out my mouth. You feel me? If I didn't have nothing on my dome, I wouldn't have said nothing.
Right.
Just for the last hour and a half. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Larry
I
said
had
real
some things
talk.
on my heart and on my mind that I wanted to share, with my brother, and with others. You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully, I had some words, I don't know everything.
Right.
So I try to think
That's why it's good that y'all throw them comments up.
Right.
It's good that you throw questions up, because then you're like, okay, I need a better clarity on what you're saying or what I'm understanding.
Because basically what you do when you guys communicate with us or talk back, you're actually, sharpening us. You should be actually making me dig deeper and go into my memory bank, or if something's on my dome that I couldn't recall, and if you throw a question out there that makes me reflect on what it is you're talking about, and that's helping me become sharper.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So
Waking up that part.
So basically, y'all help me more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Because what you do when you ask questions, you bring that out of us. If it's in you, you'll bring it out. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's on on your heart and on your mind. And if I'm familiar with the topic or have some type of understanding of what it is, then you'll bring it out of me.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
we helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, be on top of our square.
Huh. Well, if nobody got nothing else to say, we've been on for a good minute. I think we'll wrap this one up. I'm glad that
it was a good session.
Right.
You know, and we'll say peace to everybody.
Right.
And you know, be strong, keep your heads up.
We up out of here.